I hadn't partnered with an Annapurna, I'm not sure this would have been possible. But the way it's done is you send out. It's literally you send out. There's casting agencies, right? You connect to a casting agency, and they reach out to you tell them, like we had 4 or 5 actors for the cop, 4 or 5, like we have our favorites, people we like, and then a casting agency gets like, it just filters. It tells you, look, these, like, half of them are working in stuff. You just cannot. They're not available. The ones that are available, they have to be available at the same time. So you get this filtering, and then the ones that are available, which ones are actually interested. So it's about a year. It took a year of back and forth, figuring out things, talking, preparing all this material, right? Sending them, like, yeah, it was a learning process of until you get actors that are interested and believe in the material and understand the complexity of it, and then it's.
And the process too was also very interesting. I believe you have like some like screenshots or like a video that you can scrub through to show us. Like, like so how that worked.
We did a little making of. So as we were doing 12 minutes, right? Remember I was talking about the marketing and the importance of it. We were like, if we're gonna record this, let's actually record this process. So we did a little making of, right? Where we like, here's an example of a session. Like this is Willem in Italy interacting with James. So the camera you see there, it's James on Zoom in London. Willem is in Italy both on a sound stage in real time. Then there's another camera which is me telling them what to do. And then here, right, this is literally the pages of like these pages, right?
Oh yeah, I see them on the
yeah with the color. So and I actually, it's funny, like this one, like, so here's me. So the
like
issue,
looking
right?
like Zordon on a massive screen. Yeah.
Like the challenge here, right, was like, because like so I hired actors to help out, because English, I'm Portuguese, right? English is not my main language. So, and I wrote the game in a very practical way as a game designer, like the wife needs to hint that there's a storm coming so that you know how to prove the storm. So I just write, oh, thunder, oh, lightning. I wasn't expecting a storm. But then, right, we need this to be said with the voice of the character. So we hired a team of writers that for like 1 or 2 years, they were just going over all this, massaging, organizing the conversation so things would flow correctly. And that's right. That's what the final script is this this tailored, the way they speak, the way they pause, even like something I didn't realize. Like when 2 characters are talking, it's very important to have a back and forth, not have just someone or when every time there's too much exposition. Yeah, but what I wanted to say is, I totally forgot, was that no one remembered things but me about conversations. Like for example, this conversation, like the way it would go, it would be like, look, Willem, you've been electrocuted. It had to be very short, right? We don't have much time. You're on the floor, you've been handcuffed, the wife is passed out because the player just drugged her. You just wake up. Like I would describe the point of view of the cop character to Willem, then describe to James up to that point what's going on, and then they would go with the text. And I was like, okay, you're showing him the watch, and now he didn't reply. You show him again, you're a bit more pissed. Now the same scene, but you already, the player has already learned that the cop, like here, he doesn't know anything about the watch. Here, he already knows that the watch exists. Here, he knows the watch, and he knows why the cop wants the watch, right? So he's more teasing him about the conversation. Now he gives up talking about it. So there was this requirement of like just explaining him the exact context of the line, which is what's happening here, and then they would go over the lines. And,
do they ever? You said that they add a lot of nuance and different flavors and really bring the characters to life. But did they ever? Do they ever question some of the decisions, or do you end up changing?
Yeah, there was a lot of there was that learning process. Like the first thing is characters are driven, like actors work with motivations. They need to know the motivation of the character in a certain scene. But for me, it's more, I just want to convey this design moment of, like if you take the spoon off the table, if you start eating the dessert, the wife, but a character needs to understand why is he eating the dessert before. So it was great. We had a casting director which was on the sessions, and she would help me speak with the actors. You know, instead of saying I needed to be more angry or more irritated, it was more understanding, like maybe there needs to be more tonality on your voice, or we need more musicality on the voice, or we need to accentuate this emotion at this beat. So there was this process of knowing how to communicate what is needed in terms of direction. And then it was also like we were finding out how the characters would behave, right? And for example, on Daisy K's, like her character has a lot of, like the player can be an idiot for many times, right? You turn the light on and off, you pick up the food, you open the present, and we didn't want the wife to be a naggy wife, nya, nya, nya. So how do we get a character that takes things a bit as a joke, but she still has to have this strength to her about, right? She's still hiding what happened in the past. So this was up to them to figure out. So as we recorded the lines, right, there will be some lines that is like, this is too aggressive, or she would be like, I'm gonna texture it a different way. Or same with James, like we had some lines and James had this challenge of, you must say this line as you've said it 100 times, but you cannot go off the rails because it also has to fit with whatever you've said before and feel still organic in a way.
Wow.
So finding out how much room there is to go off, and so they did this groundwork of figuring out, or even with Willem, like the first pass on the cop character, he was very aggressive, he was a bit generic, I would say, like that's our take, like let's have this really aggressive character, but then Willem was like, look, this is going to be a bit flat, how about we push it back a bit, right? We feel this urgency, but this guy has been doing this for so long that we feel the control, right? This guy is under control. He's done this a million times. And then we're like, yeah, and this is going to work very well because then we have this contrast once he's handcuffed, right? Suddenly once he's handcuffed, and you've tortured him, we have this whole other side where I might die tonight, you know, and I'm no longer, like, I wanted to save my daughter, I'm risking all this, and now this is all going off rails, and we can play these two tonalities, you know. And so they did all this work of helping figure out how to texture these things.